Hi, I'm Mineral Mama, and it's time for us to have a real conversation here. Talking to about families, about the health of our family, about the intelligence of our family. Have you ever heard them say that he who controls the information controls the world? And they've been controlling and manipulating the information. And we've been believing it. And when I look around and I see our children are struggling, okay, some of y'all children might not be struggling. They might be doing okay. But if one of our children is struggling, then all of them are struggling. And in this country, there are over 150 million people between 16 and 74 years old who they call illiterate. Illiterate meaning they cannot read beyond the 6th grade. These are people that, I'm not saying they're not intelligent, but they can't read beyond the 6th grade. Okay, and then when I look around, I look at the women. Breast disease is so high, and y'all believing in the breast disease model where they're mutilating women's breasts. And when it comes to the men, your prostate is compromised. And so if you look at it, and our babies have low IQs, a lot of our babies, over 350 million, probably a 500 million of our babies have low IQs or some diagnosis or some ADD, ADHD, bipolar, intellectual disabilities, whatever you want to call it. Bottom line is our children are struggling, the fathers are struggling, and the mothers are struggling. That's the whole family, y'all. That's everybody. So I'm like, why is everybody struggling? I've been doing research for a while. I've been doing research because when I got involved, because my son was born with a learning disability, I was going about business as usual, minding my own business. And then all of a sudden, my son was born with a severe learning disability. They called it mental retardation. And I'm like, that put the brakes on everything. So I had to figure out what the heck happened. 15 years researching, I figured out what happened. He who controls the information controls the world. That's what happened. Because I should have known as a mom, but I didn't know, right? Let me just go here. So real quick, y'all, and I didn't bring the book out with me, but I wrote this book called Stolen Intellect. I'll bring it out the next time. So in Stolen Intellect, Recovering the Missing Link to Generational Health. It's on Amazon. It's worldwide distribution. I even had someone from Asia, a guy from a printing company. He said, "What made you write this book?" He said, "This book is amazing. Thank you for writing this book." He's going to help me get my book on my own website so that I could sell the book to in 176 different countries. And so that's where we're going. Because at this point, y'all, we've been entertained long enough. Entertainment is good. Entertainment is a distraction. And it's a lot of serious issues going on while we're being entertained. We're being hacked, we're being hijacked, and our intellect is being stolen. And so that's why I wrote the book called Stolen Intellect, because they're stealing our children's intelligence. Our children should be a genius. They shouldn't be struggling in school, having behavior issues, getting locked up, incarcerated, underperforming. That's not our story. Stolen Intellect is a book to say that our children's birthright, intelligence, is their birthright. And their birthright is being hijacked and stolen. And if we don't know what to do as parents to boost our children's IQ so that our children could be the genius that they were supposed to be, then that means our intellect was stolen too as parents, right? So that's what made me go ahead and write this book. because it's deeper than just intelligence, because the children come through us. So if the children come through the parents, then what does that say about the parents' health? So when we as women produce children that have a learning disability, the thing is they don't have a learning disability at all. It's just the opposite. What our children have is so much toxins in their brain and in their body that needs to be detoxified. When women have issues with their breast needs to be detoxified, not mutilated. When men are having issues with their prostate, it needs to be detoxified, not surgery. And so that's why I say he who controls the information controls the world, because they got us all over the place thinking that we have diseases, thinking that our children have low IQs, when all this time, all of our children, most of our children that are struggling, that have ADD, ADHD, and autism, and all these names, the body does not know these names. The body is just requesting. That's the body's way of requesting, hey, send some minerals down here. We are mineral deficient people. We are not the disease. We were made from the dust of the earth, but we need minerals from the ocean too. And so look around and look where y'all live. How close is the nearest ocean? It is nowhere near. And then you don't know to supplement with the ocean. You don't know to supplement your children with the ocean. And this is where the problem is. So again, I said my son was born with a severe, they call it mental retardation. So for 16 years, yep, I conducted a lot of research, and it's all in my book, and I wrote about it. And then I find out that all my son needed was some freaking iodine, some ocean supplement to boost his IQ, and it worked. But yeah, he needed it when I was in the womb, when he was in my womb, and he needed it when he was a toddler. But at least he finally got it. But when I realized there were 350 million children around the world, probably 500 million with low IQs, then I said to myself, how many of your parents even know or have any idea that all this time your children needed iodine too? They needed some ocean supplement. So in the book, just a little bit about the book, I went and I checked out other regions where children were performing, had graduation rates of 99%. 99% graduation rates. That's amazing. And I'm happy for those countries too. But if they had 99%, our kids could have 99% too. But when you go look it up online, they'll say, oh, it's the school system. And I'm like, no, it's not the school system. They've been nourishing their children's brain for over 100 years. This is part of the culture. This is part of the standard diet, to take ocean supplements and nourish their children's brain. We're not over here taking anything. Our children, if they happen to make it through school, get a degree, get a PhD, more than likely it's because either you live by the ocean or you took supplements and you didn't realize that the correlation of the supplements was helping you to be a genius, was helping to boost your IQ, right? 99% graduation rate. That's over in Finland. In the book, I take you over to Japan. And I said, okay, Japan is number 6 in the world in education. I was just talking about Finland just now, right? Finland is number 2 in the world in education. Japan, number 6. Their cancer rates are low. And their children have high intellect. Because they always say to us, why are children over here in the United States? Why is our collective IQ so low? This is why our collective IQ is so low. Nobody's telling us that we needed to nourish our children's brain as step one. And step two was to place our children and enroll them in the school system, right? So in the book, back to the book, I take you all over to Africa. And I said, well, because I know Africans, that Nigerian friends, very intelligent. Guess what? They're taking the same ocean supplements over there. They have an iodine salt program and they take additional ocean supplements. We don't have an iodine program over in this country. We don't have anything. Everybody's on their own, but nobody is really realizing what contributes to our intelligence. Because what we do is we give credit to the school systems for our intelligence. Your intelligence comes from the ocean. Your intelligence comes from nature. That's why you have an IIQ, whether you know it or not. But then we take what we got from divine intelligence, right? And that's been nourishing our brain and nourishing our body and detoxifying our body. We give credit to the doctor. We give credit to medical. We give credit to systems, education systems. That's not responsible for your IQ, because if it was, then our children that have low IQ, they would be intelligent too. So it's not the school system. And when I looked at Finland and I looked at their school system and I looked at Japan and I looked at Africa, you think they have the same school system? I don't think so. They got one thing in common though. They've been nourishing that brain with ocean supplements, and we have not. So we're all over the place with our health, and we're struggling, and nobody has been saying anything, because a lot of times they didn't even know that was, some of these countries knew. Some of these countries do know, right? Because they understand that depending on the geographical location where we live, some of us are going to be at high risk for learning disabilities. And so to get in front of that, they made sure to nourish their people with ocean supplements. So anyway, y'all, this is just a little bit about my book, Stolen Intellect. I'm going to put a description or the link for the book below. But when I have someone all the way from Asia to say, thank you for writing this book, thank you, I am honored. I appreciate that. And that was my intention, because at this time, we're in a crisis and we don't even realize that we're in a crisis because we're busy being entertained. And it's okay to be entertained. Just don't lose focus, right? Don't lose focus. But anyway, this is Mineral Mama. I hope you get a chance to pick up a copy of the book. The other thing, I'm going to also put a link in the description. My company is called Minerally Made, and there are t-shirts and hoodies and all that stuff. And that is just for us to remember to share the wisdom, to teach one another. Everybody's not going to see this video. If you happen to see it, and listen for the duration, I appreciate it. But go to, like I said, I'm going to put the link in the description, right? So we can wear these t-shirts and we can reach 4 billion people, because with your help, I can reach 4 billion people who have compromised thyroid, because at the end of the day, all of us have in common, there are 4 billion people or more with a compromised thyroid. And guess what, y'all? That thyroid, it affects your weight. It affects your brain's intelligence, because it affects the prostate. It affects the womb and the pregnancy and the baby brain, right? Because at the end of the day, guys, we're being poisoned on a regular basis. And the wonderful thing about the iodine in ocean foods, it will rinse and cleanse and detoxify and nourish at the same time. Our birthright is being stolen, and our birthright is our genius, our good health, and our longevity. Is being stolen right before our eyes. So please read my book. I wrote the book for you, and it's called Stolen Intellect. And I will put the link below. Y'all take care. Mineral Mama. Have a good day.